I had to do that just for me and also for you lot as well, just to make sure that that can still be done. But yes, I'm going on tour. In fact, let me say that with more enthusiasm, as if I've just dunked it properly. I'm going on tour! I got my sister inside. He was like, yo, shush. Anyway, I'm going on tour in November. It's going to be happening next month. And yeah, I'm going to talk to you all about the where, the what, the who, and the why. Before I do, this is that rare case of Alex Lamom, aka Lemsy, doing up BareFace, where we just go through a few things that are going on in my mental staircase. And today, as I said, I want to talk to you about the tour, the Lost Chapter tour. I'm outside. It's a little bit windy, so hopefully you can hear me very clearly. But before I even get into the tour, as I said, I'm outside, just in my garden. You might notice some horrible scrub marks on my backboard here. So I have a basketball hoop, which you've had since I've lived here, basically. I did attempt to try and clean it before I started shooting this, but two things. Number one, I was like, nah, this is long. And number two, you know when you catch yourself procrastinating, you're like, bro, this was never on your list of things to do today. I mean, still got the ladder there, so after I've done this, I might still tell myself that I need to do that, but regardless, I hope you can forgive a little bit of the mess. This is the atmosphere, we're just outside. It's a little bit windy, but you should be able to pick me up nice and clearly. But anyway, off of all of that, because I just want to get to the point. It's a very, very important time for me. I'm going to be going on my second UK tour from the 19th to the 22nd of November. And it is, it's called the Lost Chapter Tour, Outliers, the Lost Chapter Tour. And this will probably be the second last thing, so the penultimate thing that's happening with the whole Outliers series. It's been going on since last year, April, before I really just try and wrap it up, put a nice little bow in it and say, cool, Outliers, we're outside and we're moving forward in a whole new direction now, innit? But let me go to the tour. So first of all, what is this tour and who is on this tour as well? Let me start there. The Lost Chapter Tour. I keep looking here because I've got this. This is a gift. Hopefully you can see that nice and clearly. This is a gift that we're going to be giving out to people, just a free booklet. We're not going to have loads and loads, but we are going to have some that are going to be available for people just when they come to some of the shows. So what is the Lost Chapter Tour and who have I done this with? I'm a very, what I call DIY artist. There's independent artists, and then I feel there's just DIY artists, where it's literally whatever you can do for yourself, you make do kind of thing. And I think that leads into a lot of us feeling a little bit inconsistent sometimes, because all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, from you starting this whole journey and career, everything's on your back. So back in 2019, I did a tour called the Hidden Gems Live Tour. It featured a few artists that I was on tour with at the time. Osume was one, Trey Avalon was one, Exclusive Collective were some of the rest. And we met up with a few different artists from around the country. So in Coventry, Manchester, Leicester, and back down in London as well. Doing a very similar thing this time, except this is my own headline tour, which I'm very excited about. Kind of nervous, but more excited about more than anything. And I'm doing it in partnership with the promoters called Go2Beat. They are some of the friendliest and most organized promoters or company, or just one of those organizations where it's like, do you know what? I can talk to you and we can liaise about everything that we need to. So I have to do a big shout out to Go2Beat, because they are the ones who, in conjunction with me, we've just merged together to put this on. I'm doing this between the 19th and the 22nd of November, as I said. So 19th will be up in Manchester, 20th will be down in Leicester, or up in Leicester. 21st of November, I'm going to be in London doing a hopefully phenomenal and spectacular and just different headline show in one of my favorite places, which I'll tell you about in a sec. And the final show is going to be in Bristol on Friday the 22nd of November. In all of these different places, I'm going to have support artists. I'm going to be a support artist in Bristol as well, so that one's a little bit different. But I'm going to be traveling on the roads with my DJ Hype Hyphen, back one of London's coldest DJs. If you haven't seen him, heard his mixes, you're late. You're just late, innit? And then also traveling one of my good guys, Zoka the Author, also a Leytonstone native, and just an incredible lyricist. I remember when I introduced them both on a video call, I gave them both the dopest intros. I mean, I can't even do that right now. I don't know why, but yes, I gave them the dopest intros. They are two incredible creatives, artists, just humans in their own right, man. So I'm very happy to be traveling on the roads with them. Also going to be with part of the Starboard team, so Henny's going to be there. We will have some photographers, videographers, just to capture just these moments as well, just to make sure it's as sick as possible. And we haven't even confirmed who some of these other artists in the other respective areas are going to be, except Bristol. So please do just continue to look out. I'll just let you know as it comes, like this person's coming up in Manchester, this person's going to be in Leicester, and we might even run a competition for London just to see who wants to be involved and yeah, who's got it, who wants to open up the stage for us, man. So that's kind of the what. That's kind of the what and the who. I'll do a little bit more of the what actually. Why, like the lost chapter. What's the point of the lost chapter kind of thing? For anyone who doesn't know, Outliers is my previous full-length project. So there were 14 tracks on that project. And the significance of that project to me is that it was something primarily created in lockdown. So I was really tapping into my sporadic nature of, I don't really feel like an artist. Am I even writing? Oh, right, here's a 16, right, here's a whole song. And the creative process for me in that aspect was piecing together all of these songs that didn't really feel like they had any kind of cohesion about them. So Outliers, a creative project by Lemsy, which came out in 2023, is the full-length project, which I call a CP, aka creative project, because it's a blend of an album and an audiobook. The 3 different chapters, Polluted Mind, Outside, and Reasoning, are all representative of chapters or EPs. So what I've done with this last one is throughout this period where it kind of feels like the residue of the whole COVID, Outliers, writing, very experimental, different genres, different styles, different everything. This is the last sense of me doing that because I feel whatever I'm creating next is going to be a lot more cohesive and just like a full body of work. So for the last chapter, I've got a jungle single on there, trap one, an R and drill one, got some lo-fi on there, got some hip hop on there, like whatever your palette, you are going to enjoy at least one of those things. And I thought this is the best way for me to just bring this to life, which kind of ties me to why. Now, doing a tour is not easy. Like, for those of you that have put on events before, even just putting on your own headline show or putting on an event for another party or whatever it is, that takes a lot of planning and logistics. So even this was something at the beginning of the year I said to myself, yes, I want to go around the country and perform with people again. And at this point, I want to give a big shout to Coat of the Friend as well, actually. In March 2024, I supported him on the UK stops of his EU tour that he was doing. So we did Manchester and we did London, Manchester Academy, and then also London, in the garage down in Islington. And both shows were absolutely fire, fire. And they gave me inspiration because me, Hype Hyphen, Henny, Aaliyah, us just traveling up to Manchester, coming back and doing the London show then with the band and everything, it felt sick because it just felt like, right, we're seeing someone who you can see a reflection of yourself in them and how they're moving. When I say them, I mean Coat of the Friend and how him and his team are moving, because it's very DIY, it's very independent. It is just based off of good music and good connections with people that you've made along the way. And for me, and my biggest why when it comes to music, not my biggest why, but one of my biggest whys when it comes to music is that I love being on the stage. I feel like being on the stage surpasses every other aspect of making music to me. Being on the stage surpasses every other aspect of making music to me. Sorry, but you're going to hear some noises, and I think it's the time that the kids have broken up from school, all of that stuff, so I apologize. But hopefully you can hear me clearly still, innit? But yeah, being on stage surpasses everything, from being in the studio, writing, record, all of it is my favorite part. And a lot of people that know me through music know me from open mic days like 10 years ago, or some of the other showcases that I might put on about 6 years ago, or just the shows that I was doing in Waltham Forest when they used to have Barbican Walthamstow Garden Party, and I'd perform and I'd also produce a part of it as well. So like for me, I'm a very IRL person. That comes to a lot of aspects in my life. Even with dating, I've not done dating apps yet because I'm just very IRL. I want to get a sense of really what's going on with people, like body language, all of that stuff is important to me. And for those of you who don't perform, I know that sometimes maybe people feel like they're invisible in a crowd. My crowds haven't been so big that I can't clock who's there. So I really gauge, oh shit, you're really fucking with what's going on. Oh damn, you're kind of in the middle of a group of people that aren't moving, but you look like you want to move. Okay, cool, you're smiling. Oh, you look a bit, like you really get to feel that. And I'm one of those people that just, I get a sense like that helps me, especially when I'm on stage, where you're kind of like, you're on your own, unless you got a band or musicians around you, but you're on your own. So why? I love performing. That's one. I love performing. Number two, the Spotify game, not even just Spotify, let me not say that, but the algorithmic game is quite a difficult one to crack. It's either quite lucky, in a sense, like you keep feeding it and then you kind of just hope that something sticks, and it does. It gets into the algorithmic stream, and it just, once it's in, it kind of just keeps flying. Like I've seen that happen with a few people. Or it's quite expensive. That's the reality of the situation. Not to say that running a tour and putting on a tour is cheap, because it's definitely not. However, I feel like what I get out of it, the impact it would leave on me, is much more of a marker than when I see 10,000, 50,000 or 100,000 streams. Like, don't get me wrong, dope. Hitting those kind of metrics, dope. And I have those as stuff that I want to do as well, but just being able to engage with real people, as I previously said, just engage with real people, give them like a showcase of this is what I'm really about, i.e. here right now, expressing these ideas in this creative way, in this musical way with you. This has taken time and effort because we've rehearsed how this is going to look and sound and feel. Leaving people with a sense of real impact as well, because again, with the algorithmic game, it's kind of like, cool, you're in a playlist or whatever. Yeah, you're in a playlist or whatever, and the numbers are going to determine how good you might feel about the music you're creating. Whereas for me, it's very much like, how do I feel about the experience that I've created? That's always going to be the biggest thing for me when it comes to doing music. And I guess that ties in with my other thought and just thesis around the music industry in a way, where it's like, how are we determining these things? Why is it that a lot of artists don't feel that they can go and do a tour? Like back in the day, artists would jump in their car with some of the, especially like more of the bands, I'm thinking more of the bands than the rappers, they would jump in their car, go to Brighton or whatever and be like, yo, can we plug in, can we play, and they'd do it. Like, it was a very standard practice, and it feels like stuff like touring or just leaving your home city is becoming slightly more of an elitist practice, which it shouldn't do and it doesn't need to be. Of course, money is very much a thing, and money is something that's going to hinder some people from being able to do this. Yeah, it will hinder people from being able to do this, which is why I'm very thankful to Go To Beat for getting involved with this one around. But when we did it in 2019, that was all out of all of our pocket. It was like mainly mine, but all of our pocket. We all chipped in and just made it happen. There are some things that we did just to cut costs, like shout out to Hype Hyphen. We managed to stay at his family home in Leicester, which meant didn't have to do accommodation for like 2 of the nights. And just the logistics of traveling from one place to the next. Again, it's just, how can we make that work for us, where we're not having to splurge on bare stuff? Yeah, so that's kind of the crux of why I really want to make sure that I can embody the whole musical journey of the Outliers trajectory so far, and even stuff from before Outliers as well, but embody what that really is. It's me being as creative as I can in terms of piecing different things that you might not think belong together, but actually I'm demonstrating this is how they do and why they do as well. That's one. Getting the impact from the experience for myself and for other people. That's number 2. And also number 3 is just showcasing, like, yeah, DIY artists, the ones of us who don't have some sort of backing or major backing or whatever it is, we can still do this as well. Like going on the road, leaving our home city or hometown or whatever, it's for all of us. Like, we can do it, so let's do it, kind of thing. And that's really the main crux of just what I want to talk about today. There's going to be a lot more details coming. I really want to see you there. So if you do happen to stumble across this or watch this, if you've even got this far, which is incredible, just type in The Lost Chapter in the comments or whatever. But please do get a ticket. You're going to see more information come in, especially on like my socials and on the newsletters that go out every Friday. And just, yeah, just enjoy it, man. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be something it's going to leave a mark on me and my CV, and me just looking at myself as an artist and also a businessman as well. Like, is this something that does generate some sort of financial gain? If it doesn't, what does it give me instead of that? Does it provide it for somebody else or something else? Like, yeah, there's going to be a lot of learnings, but as Kim, my guy Kim would say, is I learn. But yeah, man, I'm out. I don't have a sign off, so I'm just going to shimmy out of the frame so you can't see me.
Yes, all style and grace. Question why I got a smile on face.
Alright, just so you lot know, I went in. It's not perfect, as you can still see the top could do with a bit more elbow grease, but this is way better, way better.